But if you don't mind, I have some statistics that have to do
Mm-hmm.
with this that I put at the end of the memoir talking about my father coming in. Can I just read you this part?
Yes, yes.
This part gets me every time. I have a friend whose brother sexually abused her every night. She warned, "Don't tell." For years, she didn't. When she finally did, her family fell apart. I have a friend who was raped by her live in grandfather. She told no one for years. I have another friend whose stepfather, a former priest, shoved her headfirst into a snowbank when she was 6, nearly suffocating her. He then raped her when she was 11. I have a friend who was first raped by her father, an MD and a university professor, when she was 3. Her sister committed suicide. The point is, these are women I happen to know well. I did not seek them out to make a point. Only over time did I learn their stories. In other words, this kind of abuse is very, very common. According to the CDC, an American is sexually assaulted every 73 seconds, and 1 in 5 American women has experiences completed or attempted rape in her lifetime. The really scary thing to me is that other data show that 1 in 3 female rape victims experienced rape for the first time between 11 and 17 years of age. Worse than that, 90% of child sexual abuse victims know their attackers. And in fact, 78% of the perpetrators were the parents of the victims. And that figure comes from the US Department of Justice.
Oh, that's
This
frightening.
is common, and this is happening to
Mm-hmm.
children as well as adult
Mm-hmm.
women. And it has taken me years of therapy to understand what happened and to tell the truth. And the truth has kind of the uniting theme of my memoir: truth as a journalist and truth figuring out what was going on in my family.
Mm-hmm.
Awful as my father was and comes across as I talk about it, my mother's neglect and failure to protect were perhaps more damaging in the long run.
I agree. I agree. I had something very similar. My father did not protect me. Actually, he ran and hid, literally. He literally went and hid when my brother would go off. Yeah. So yeah.
You
Mm-hmm.
mean your brother was the abuser?
My brother and my all three of them actually, but my brother was the one that was the real loose cannon in the family. He's the one that did in my younger, well, all the way up until I was 18. He's the one, it wasn't sexual, but he was the primary abuser. But I had a mother who also used that abuse to help manipulate and control me. And then
Yeah.
I had a father, when my brother was in 8th grade, was bigger than my dad, and I literally witnessed the power change. And so when my brother would go off on his tangent, he would literally go hide. I remember going looking for him one time, and he was in the bedroom hiding in the corner. And it was his little boy that was triggered, right? That's what it was.
Right, right, right. We all get
Mm-hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. But it's frightening. And
But
you're right. That's devastating when you know that your mom did have the ability to protect you and yet didn't.
right. And also, I don't know if this was true for your father, but my mother was very superficial, great hostess, good cook, pretty, you know, did her wifely thing, but emotionally not there.
Yeah.
And that lack of an attachment, it's called an insecure attachment, that's very damaging to kids.
Mm-hmm.
There's nobody home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You need that emotional connection.
Yep.
And with your parents, first of all, that's your very first caregivers. That's who
That's
you
your
should be connecting with.
existence. That's your world. That's your only reality.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.